So, you've probably heard the term UX thrown around, right? Ever wondered what it actually is? Well, you're in the right spot. We're going to break down user experience design, and trust me, it's probably not what you're thinking. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's just get right to it. The big question on everyone's mind. Is the UX job market this incredible, booming opportunity, or is it just completely saturated? You know, like a party that's already way too crowded? It's a real puzzle, and it's something so many new designers are up against.
So how can both of those things be true? I mean, really, on one side you hear companies are hiring like crazy, but on the other, you see all these junior designers who just can't seem to break in. The thing is, the market is both. It's booming and it's saturated. So the real trick isn't picking a side, it's figuring out what companies are really hiring for.
And this right here, this is the absolute heart of it all. Companies just don't hire tool users. They're not looking for someone who just knows their way around Figma. The market is flooded with people like that. What they're desperately searching for are problem solvers. They want thinkers, people who can really dig in, understand what users need, and come up with great experiences.
You know, here's a great analogy. Think about a gym. It's full of people lifting weights, right? But how many of them are actual athletes? Very few. The athletes are the ones who understand the science, the form, the why behind every movement. And UX is exactly the same. Anyone can learn a tool. That's just lifting the weight. But becoming a real designer, that's about understanding the why behind everything you do.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's pull back and get to the core of it. What even is user experience? So user experience, or UX for short, it's not just about what happens when you're clicking around on an app. It's so much bigger than that. It's the entire journey. It's that feeling you get from the very first time you hear about a product, all the way to opening the box, using it for the first time, and yeah, even what it's like to call customer support. It's literally every single point of contact you have.
And I really want to drive this home. UX is not just for apps and websites. It is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. The way a pen feels in your hand, that's UX. Using an ATM, that's a user experience. Getting a haircut, or even calling a plumber. All of these are experiences. You don't need a screen to have good UX.
All right, to really make this stick, let's do a quick thought experiment. Think about a pickle jar. No, seriously, a pickle jar. What's the user experience of a pickle jar? What makes it good, or what makes it awful?
I mean, think about it, right? A good UX for a pickle jar is the lid opens without a fight, the brine doesn't spill all over your counter, you can actually find the expiration date. A bad UX, that's the one where the lid is basically welded shut, you get pickle juice everywhere, and you have no idea if it's safe to eat. That difference, right there in that simple jar, that is user experience.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what UX is, but how do you actually measure it or build it? Well, it turns out any great experience really stands on 4 key pillars. Let's walk through them. First up, we've got usable. This is probably the one you think of first. It's super simple. Can people actually use the thing? Is it easy to figure out? Does it make sense? Basically, a usable design means you can do what you came to do without wanting to throw your computer out the window. Pillar number 2 is equitable. And this one asks a really important question. Does this work for everyone? We're talking about people with all sorts of different abilities, backgrounds, and needs. And being equitable doesn't mean everyone gets the exact same design. It means the design works for everyone, giving them what they need to have a great experience. All right, pillar 3 is enjoyable. This is where things get interesting. A product can be totally functional, but does it make you smile? Does it just feel nice to use? This is about going beyond the basics. It's about creating something that feels delightful, maybe even makes an emotional connection with you. And last but definitely not least, we have useful. And you could argue this is the most critical pillar of them all. It all boils down to one question. Does this thing actually solve a real problem for someone? Look, a product can be the easiest thing in the world to use, but if it doesn't add any real value to your life, well, it's useless. It has to be worth your time. Okay, let's tackle the big one, the thing that trips up almost everyone when they're starting out. What on earth is the difference between UX and UI? So the user interface, or UI, is pretty specific. It's the exact spot where you, the human, actually interact with the machine. Think of it like the steering wheel and pedals in a car. It's the how. It's the bridge that lets you communicate with the system. So if we put them side by side, it looks like this. UX is the whole journey. It's the feeling you have, the problem it's solving for you. The UI, that's the specific stuff you touch and see,
the buttons, the screens, the controls. So if UX is the why, then UI is the how and the look.
But, and this is super important, UI isn't just screens. When you talk to Alexa or Siri, that's a voice user interface. When you wave your hands to control something in VR, that's a gesture interface. Heck, even the knobs for the radio in your car, that's a physical UI. Any point where you interact with a system, that's a user interface. So why do companies care so much about all this? It's because of this one powerful idea. Design is not just decoration. It's not just making things look pretty. It's a strategic direction for the entire business. Good design builds trust, it creates loyalty, and that creates value. That's why smart companies see UX as absolutely essential to their success.
Okay, so we've got the concepts down. Now let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk less about what design is and more about how you can start to think like a designer. Because honestly, it's not about the software you use. It's all about your mindset.
So what's the real difference between a tool user and a design thinker? Well, it really comes down to a few things. It starts with being curious, always asking why. You've got to have patience to trust that the process, even when it's messy, will work out. You need to be a great communicator to get your ideas across. But maybe the biggest thing is focusing on solving problems, not just building features. And just learning by doing. Don't wait for it to be perfect. And you know, if you document that whole journey, you'll be amazed at how much you grow.
Look, if there's only one thing you remember from all this, make it this. Master the process, and the results will take care of themselves. Stop chasing the job title. Instead, get obsessed with the process of understanding people and solving real problems for them. If you can get that part right, believe me, everything else just falls into place.
So there you have it. The groundwork is laid. You've got the concepts, the pillars, the right mindset. You have the foundation. The only question now is, what are you going to build on it?